US-Saudi attack on Iraqi militias risks drawing them into war. For months, the government in Baghdad has sought to curb the Iran-backed militias that have long operated in Iraqi territory, struggling to meet the Trump administration's demands that it bring them under state control, disarm them and cut off their funding. A wave of US-Saudi airstrikes that targeted the militias early Wednesday now risks upending those efforts. The attacks, which killed at least 20 people, have provided a new justification for Iran's allies in Iraq to hold on to their arms and claim that they are the forces best positioned to protect the country's sovereignty. And for Iran, the violence presents a chance to encourage these allied militias to join the regional war. The era of shedding Iraqi blood with impunity is over, said Mohammad Tamimi, leader of the Iran-aligned militia Al-Wad al-Sadiq. Our response will not be mere statements. It will be actions on the ground to enforce the equation, a bombing for a bombing. Iraqi political leaders on Wednesday questioned the wisdom of the sweeping attack, which was carried out, they said, without coordinating with the Baghdad government. In a statement, Iraq's National Security Council vowed to try to rein in the militias on its own. It condemned the violation by the United States and Saudi Arabia of Iraqi sovereignty and warned the airstrikes could stoke further chaos. Since the U.S. invasion in 2003, Iraq has struggled to balance the interests of its superpower ally, the United States, and those of neighboring Iran, the regional Shiite Muslim power. Iran supported militias from Iraq's Shiite majority that fought the U.S. occupation, and the Iran-backed forces also helped draw Iraq into decades of sectarian bloodshed, which has only recently ebbed. That balancing act has grown increasingly fraught in the past year, as the Trump administration has ratcheted up pressure on Iraq to curb the Iran-aligned militias. The war launched by the United States and Israel on Iran in February quickly turned Iraq into one of the conflict's battlegrounds. The U.S. military said the joint strikes on Wednesday were retaliation for 72 hours of drone attacks on U.S. forces and Saudi energy infrastructure originating in Iraq. So far, the source of those attacks remains unclear. No group has claimed responsibility for them, and Iran's militia allies in Iraq have publicly said they were not behind them. The groups had previously been quick to take credit for attacks in the region, before the April ceasefire between Washington and Tehran that briefly paused the war. But since the resumption of hostilities, the militias have not claimed responsibility for attacks outside Iraq. That's the latest from the New York Times. I'm your host, thanks for listening.